Hi everyone, Anthony Morgan's Training Academy. Today is about the Karambit. This is a training Karambit. Now some guys like carrying them, some guys don't. There is benefits of carrying them. They are an Indonesian weapon. But you have to decide if it's something you're going to carry. I don't carry one on me. Mainly because it's the hook bill I'm not real happy with. I like the more straight blade for I can cut, but there is problems with the Karambit. Now, one of them, and I say problems, if something happens and my finger gets caught in here, it can break my finger. Okay, it can just be an accidental break. Okay, if I move in here like this and I do this, and maybe it gets hung up, it may break my finger. Now, that's one bad thing about it. The other thing is if something happens and I throw this out there and somebody hits this and it comes back, it can cut me there. And you say, well, why would they hit it? All kinds of situations, okay? Anytime this is going out, it can come back at any different way here and make that cut. All it needs is somebody to redirect the blade coming back in. Now, as a knife person, you say, well, that'll never happen. Well, never is a long time, and I've seen so many things over the years. But the benefits, okay, it's like if I'm in here and I cut and this guy's hand goes, then see my Karambit, I got the finger in. Now, if his finger's sticking up there, see my finger comes out, I hook this and I break that finger. My finger comes back in again, like this, finger comes out, I hook, I break, and I come back in. Great technique. Are you going to have time to do it? Not necessarily. If I'm in here and I sweep like this now, I can take that, okay? But I haven't really injured him yet. So if I move here like this, okay, and I hit, then this comes up and I can break the finger. What's happening this whole time that this is happening? Why is his hand still out here? Am I going to have to chase that hand back in order to get the finger break or the thumb break? Okay, and that's where reality-based martial arts, or whatever you want to call it, draws that line, because we don't know and we'll never know what's going to happen out there on the street. You know, as a law enforcement officer, things that I studied and trained in the dojo didn't work out there on the street. I had to make modifications and I had to make them fast. So, but you know, thinking that it comes out, that hooks the finger, I go for the break. Now, the Karambit makes a really good tool for covering lines. Now, I may cover the line here, okay? I may cut that line, okay? Now, if I don't have the Karambit in my hand, now I can tan sao here, okay? I can guang sao here, but with the Karambit, I can cover both lines. I can cover the upper and the lower, and I can still get the cut. That's a positive thing about the Karambit. A lot of times, you know, it looks cool, it looks threatening, but how well are you trained with running the Karambit? Okay, and you know, I always keep it in this position just because that's, you know, what I like. Now you can take this and move it to this position where the pinky is through there. What is the benefit for that? Okay, it's like, you know, it's really hard to roll. I mean, sure, you can roll it like that if you want to, you know, be dorky about it, but just to have it here and have the finger in it, sure. I mean, if your hand gets bloody, you're not going to drop your knife. But, you know, do I want to have my hand secured here to where if he does try to remove that knife, what's going to happen to my little finger? And it can go either way. If I'm here and he tries to disarm that, sure, I can allow that to move. It's harder to disarm. This way, it's, you know, you can let it go there, but still, if he catches it, the finger's broke. So, just a few little minor details, okay? Like I said, I can cover here. I can cover here on this low hand, okay? If he's throwing, maybe he's throwing a kick, and I can cover this here on the kick. Works really good. If the guy's throwing the kick, I can come up underneath and cut the Achilles tendon. Okay, works great for that. I may open up here and I'll invite him to throw the kick, and when he throws the kick, I cut the tendon. Works really great for that. The ring knife works good too. How often are you going to be carrying around a ring knife? How often are you going to be carrying around a karambit? And do you want to be carrying that much stuff around with you all the time? I carry all that stuff, mainly me, because I'm teaching all the time. The normal person that doesn't teach is not going to be carrying as much as I do. Of course, me being a working man, I'm always in my shop or I'm always out, and so the knives I carry all have different functions. I don't just carry a knife just for self-defense. Sometimes I carry it for utility. Sometimes I just carry it for cutting, bananas and stuff. I don't want to use my knife that I cut grease and stuff like that with to cut my bananas. So karambit, a lot of good uses. See this little knob here? This is great for hitting the face. Okay. Now I may take this knob and I may hit the side of the arm. Like if the guy's throwing a punch, and I can pick this up and I can sink that into the arm. Now I can sink this in the inside also and rake that up. Do I want to be cutting the guy up? Not necessarily, but so karambit, they look cool. They look fun. I've had a ton of my guys over the years that have done this and had a nice little cut there on their end, mainly because you have to understand how to spin it. And by spinning it, it's the same as throwing a back fist. The hand has to be bent here so the blade is coming back this direction, not this direction. And so, few little minor things. Like I said, if he throws a punch or he throws a kick, I may catch here, okay, and I may cut that line, okay. If he throws a punch, I may catch here, okay, on the punch. I may hit with the end of it. I may use it for breaking thumbs. As far as a good self-defense knife, I would say there's too many things that can go wrong with a karambit. Hide them. If you're hiding them and you need them, great. They're a great tool. But I think in the world today, a good Kershaw that I can actually change grips with, works probably as well, for getting the job done. So, like I said, they are cool. And the other thing is, if that hand slips down like that, by some reason, some problem occurs, I'm going to cut that little finger there. Then they're not always like that, some are real small, but learn how to use them. Okay, again, you have that, you have that, okay, you have that, you have this, you have this. And, all your guillotines are what we call muscle destructions, taking that muscle out, for breaking fingers, okay, works good. But the more complicated a knife gets, the more problems you're going to run into, unless you've spent years and years working with the karambit. It's probably not the best choice. They're cool, they look nice, and you do need to understand how they work as a Filipino martial arts practitioner. But if you're going to be carrying one, start out with a trainer first. Okay, get used to all those positions. And trainers aren't going to always help you to train properly with a real knife. With a trainer, sometimes you get habit forming where you're going, oh, this works really good, and you put a real blade in your hand and you cut your hand. Mainly because you weren't paying attention and you weren't doing proper positioning with your knife. So you get too relaxed and you're doing this. Every time I do this, it's hitting my thumb. Well, that's the wrong procedure, okay? And so, but anyway, that's a little bit on the karambit. Side note, it's cool. Not real practical. I love them. Not real practical. This scares a lot of people outside when you do this. Why would you do it? Yeah, because it looks cool, but it scares people. Okay, so when you pull this out and it looks like that, it looks like a, you know, a fang or a claw or something. It's very threatening. So anyway, that's my take on Karambit, and thank you guys for subscribing to my channel, and keep watching, keep sharing, and I'll see you in the next video.